All right. It's your boy CZ here. I figured, you know what? I'm in the middle of editing this anyway, and I may as well kind of break down a little bit what I'm doing just to help other people out that are getting into editing. So, one of the first things I want to say right here, your best friend is going to be this white line. If you're new to editing, this is like your number one favorite thing. This is what you'll do. I'm not really so much worried about. Normally, I would go through and like a big drag like this, I would take that out because that's going to be maybe like a half a second or so of time. And, every second has to earn itself. But at the same time, you don't want to burn yourself out with over optimization because I've done that before where it's like 30 to 60-second videos I'm spending 12 hours of edit, and it's like it's because, this whole thing gets just layered. I mean, there's just stickers and then effects and then, when you really take your time and you trim out your breaths, that can take a really long time. And you can use CapCut to an extent to trim out your breaths with the AI feature. I don't fully trust it myself, but if you ever feel like it's something you want to trust, I would never say not to. But yeah, so let's get into this. And I'll say the white line, just to give you an example. Like, if I were, fresh on this video, and I played that and the line got to like right here and there was no talking, no audio, no nothing, I would consider that like completely dead air. And that's not something that you want because when you're on TikTok and Instagram and even YouTube a little bit, YouTube's much more friendlier to like actual structured content. What TikTok and Instagram seem to really like is a lot of noise. They like a lot of like movement and just it seems like chaos, but it's really not. It's a controlled amount of chaos that they like. There's a lot of people that say that TikTok and stuff is just brain rot content, but there is some really good stuff on there. And some of the brain rot content, despite how it looks from the outside, is actually very controlled. Like there's a lot of impressive amount of precision excuse me, precision can't talk today. Precision control. Fuck that word. Whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. Let's keep it rolling, but I would go through and then fix that. So just as like an example, I mean, I would hate to kind of fuck myself up at all because I already got some stuff on the timeline, but you just kind of zoom in and then, you just take your white line or in this, when it's not actually on it yet, it'll look yellow. But then you just kind of want to drag. You would drag her there and then you would hit Control B and then you would kind of just Control B here. You would delete that, then you would slide it on back and then you would just listen to the track again. And like you can kind of tell right there, like let's go back a little bit further just to get more context. That obviously that fucked it up. Like that doesn't sound good at all. So we don't want to do that. I'm just gonna control Z all that back to normal because that was just kind of an example of something that I might do if I was fresh at the video. And I will make a video of a full edit like breakdown from the beginning to the end. I just kind of thought of it while I was doing this that I may as well walk you through like a little bit of why I'm doing what I'm doing. And so the first thing that we're gonna do is you want to have something that's going to do something called a scroll break. And that's because when someone's just in scroll mode, they're kind of in that trance of like, I'm looking for dopamine, I'm looking for, serotonin, I want my brain chemicals, give me my drugs. And they're going to be very willing to skip over your video if you don't do certain things that help you stand out. One thing you could do is you can start a video in black and white and then slowly within a half second to a second fade back into color. And that, especially on TikTok, is going to be very powerful because TikTok is all about loud, fast, vibrant, bright colors. So when you scroll by and suddenly a video is in black and white, that's going to stop you. It doesn't guarantee you'll stay for the video, but that's definitely going to get your interest. If you'll notice what I do with mine, um, let's play it. Within the first second, you already know what we're talking about in the video. And I've already given you this little bit of a, we'll say a handshake. This is kind of me saying, I don't take myself too seriously. I'm just a normal dude. I'm just going to talk. And this isn't going to be some big corporate video. So we've got that. And really, I mean, right here, this is kind of a bit of a stretch, to go from 2 seconds all the way to 9 seconds without a whole lot happening in between. But I'm gonna trust that this was funny enough to kind of buy enough attention, and that the hook being so clear, I'm going to naturally filter people that want this type of content because I'm not being deceitful. I am very much intentionally designing my hooks so that there is no misunderstanding or misconception about what I'm going to talk about in the video. From the first 3 seconds of watching, like you're going to have a very solid understanding of what this video is going to be about. And so, what I do then know at 9 seconds to kind of break up that monotony and get rid of that dead air is you just use some SFX, you just time it together, and this is really just a matter of it's going to be just it's not something I feel like I can fully teach. It's more so pattern recognition in a way, but I mean you'll get there if you just drag the white line back and you play things until it sounds right, then you'll usually know that you've kind of aligned your SFX to your visual. And that's a big component of what I try to do. This is a living ecosystem that I treat this as. You know, everything has to kind of justify everything else. Every second has to earn itself. And then you can't just abandon theme midway through. Because I've used cats here, I can't suddenly just switch to dogs for the rest of the video. I could. I mean, it's not like I'm going to burst into flame or go to jail, but some people might feel a little bit like, huh, you know, because I set up a cat theme. Now, if I do cats, dog, cat, cat, dog, right? That's, you know, a theme now. Now it's cats and dogs. But because I've already kind of established so much cat heavy stuff here, I'm going to kind of stick to this cat theme. Also, just because I don't know. I mean, I'm not a huge cat person, but they're fun, and I just feel like it's an easy way to get a nice little cute sticker in there. And then what I do now, because I had such a gap from here to here, I'm gonna kind of give a little bit of a reward for sticking around. And now you get this kind of little funny thing that pops up. And so I haven't decided, you know, any sort of whatever for this one. Oh, but I'm noticing that I have not actually, and this is a good thing to show you. So this little glitch noise, we are going to want to position you. We're going to want to get you about right over Hizzle. And we're just going to select only you.
Huh?
There we go. And we're going to go out. We're going to look. We'll do dissolve. And so let's watch that again together. And see, what you kind of want is you want the noise and the visuals to kind of feel like they're both summoning one another, that there's some sort of communication going on. That's the best way I can describe it for myself is I try to make this an experience. This isn't just a linear timeline. It isn't just going from point A to point B to point C. I'm trying to make this an actual ecosystem that you can experience as the viewer. And that's been my editing process since I first got into editing. And I also, you'll notice, I kind of have a thing for if something visual happens, I usually like to tether that to some sort of audio as well. So for me, when this happens and that just pops up like that, I literally feel something great inside of me. So I don't quite understand what that is, but I just feel like if something happens up here, well, something down here should have had some sort of cause and effect to make that happen up here. So for this, what we'll do, because it's a kind of a silly thing, we'll just do this. Where we're gonna go and we'll go look up maybe some game show sounds. And those are a little bit too happy. That's not what we want. So we kind of want like negative game show. It's still not quite what we want. That might be kind of nice. We'll take that, drop it to about 17, negative 17 decibels, just to see what that kind of. Let's see, is there a way that we can make this one work? It's down to about 21. And here's what I honestly do is to kind of make this end a little sooner. Is and then fix this out and just make it right here. And I still don't know if I'm feeling. No, but it feels like that's definitely coming first. So we want the noise to kind of summon it. And then because it's a constant, that sound is a rolling sound to me. That's not a straight sound. And I know that might sound weird, but to me, that's a sound that's kind of got a rolling physicality to it. When you're listening to that, wow, 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 I kind of imagine something tumbling downhill. And that's just the way that my mind processes things. That doesn't mean that you have to see it that way, but the takeaway is just that I think that there's more to sound than just listening to it. I think that sounds do have a sort of direction that they go, things like that. And I would even say that some sounds you could even relate to color. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to figure out what we want to do with these two texts. Or well, the sticker. Do we want? We're going to have it as a kind of a glitch. I like that. And we'll do the same thing. And I like glitch effects. And you can do like cat glitch effects. You can mix that up. That's not, you're not going to get the Pope on you about that. You're not going to go to Pope jail or anything, but you definitely can kind of freeform however you want. So don't ever take anything I'm saying as, 100% you have to do it this way, but let's see if we can get. And if you're, a professional editor, I guarantee you have macros and like you have way more setup. I'm 6 months into this. I think I'm just running purely on instinct at this point. But I know that from other, talking to other editors, like that there's definitely a way bigger thing happening with them when it comes to having macros and stuff. I kind of like that actually. I like that. And so it's a minute 17. What we want to really achieve is, this right here is probably your most important 3 seconds of any video. This 3 seconds will determine the trajectory of your video. If someone just pops on and watches this and they only watch, to hear TikTok and Instagram, YouTube, they don't even I don't want to say for sure, but I don't believe they count that as an actual view. Um, and so you don't want that because when someone looks at that and they're not engaged, you have to understand these are companies where there there's no more like land. You know what I mean to conquer. Like it's time. Your time and attention is what's up for grabs now. So to appease TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, I mean, these are the rules you have to go by. You have to make your first 3 seconds sticky. You have to make it something that's going to hook someone. So, another thing that we could do, just because I'm thinking about it now that I'm at the front and I'm secretly not really sure what to do about this middle part and I'm just kind of procrastinating, but we can kind of do something that's going to be like a double hook for the video. And so my video opens up immediately with, let's talk, AI and sycophancy. But how about I do this? Let's make it personal. Let's take a walk together. I like doing lowercase letters. There's some research into it that doing lowercase. Um, I don't know why. There's just something about, I guess, the lack of professionalism that makes people feel a little bit closer to you when you don't use perfect language and you use like a text font that it looks good in lowercase. I like Ugly Dave. I think it's one of my favorites. Whatever works for you though. So we'll go ahead and do that. And then let's see, do I want to make it yellow or do I want to make it blue? That's kind of hard to see against there we go. And so for this, we'll just loop it. One of my favorite loops is to just kind of give it a little twist. Okay, and so the reason that we do that is obviously that makes it a little bit more personal, but it also just gives more reason. What you're really trying to do in these first 3 seconds is to just ensure someone that this is going to be worth their time and understand that there's something like 500 hours of content uploaded every minute, right? So this is high stakes competition. I mean, there's never been a more competitive market than social media. So you have to do what you can. Just, don't sell your soul and don't do things that, are manipulative, but you can do things like this. And I would say that this is a completely fair, okay thing to do. I'm just trying to set up what this is. I'm not lying. I'm not, it's not like 30 seconds into this, I'm going to suddenly, start selling you fucking houses or something. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to become a realtor in the middle of this. But that's the whole point is you're just trying to buy each moment because everyone thinks that, oh, if you have a good hook, your video is going to succeed. No, that's bullshit. The hook is every moment. Every moment is a hook. You have to keep hooking people moment to moment. That's what you're doing. You're buying people into what you're I'm not selling, but I'm getting you to buy into an experience with me. You don't have to watch this video. You could be doing so many other things with your life. And I love that you're choosing to spend your time on my video. But I understand that you watching this video also required a significant amount of like research and knowledge and just application of it on my part to get to a point where you would watch this video because it is a very competitive market. But that covers the first. I would say that this is a very solid beginning, um, 20 seconds of the video. Let's really see. I mean, from here we could probably chill the middle out a little bit, but let's see what's going on. And I know this is like, why are we watching this video together now in silence? But this is my process. Like I will sit here and I will watch this as many times as I need to, until I know what to do. So to save you from that, I'm gonna do that for a little bit, and I'll come back, pop open the recorder again, and then we'll kind of go from there.